Founded in 1929, Ateneo's school paper, dubbed as the Guidon, did not only serve as an organ for a journalistic expression of the Blue Eagles. It also recorded Ateneo's history, embedded in its 83 years of press existence.
And in fact, yung Guidon na yun, nag-pave the way yun for my meeting my future wife. The time when I met her, I was still news editor. I was not yet the editor-in-chief. She happened to be the editor-in-chief of Marinol newspaper, the school newspaper of Marinol. One day, we decided na mag-joint issue kami. And that's when I met her.
We hardly talked the first time. But then later on, he would talk to me, he would ask me out, he would call me, and there was one event that was also very helpful in helping us to know each other better, and that was the College Editors Guild conference, where both of us became delegates. By then, he was already the editor of the Guidon, and I was the editor of the Kiro, and we were head delegates, of our respective school papers. And over at Cebu, we attended workshops, we attended conferences, and after conferences, we got to know each other better.
I think a month after that, we had an ROTC officers ball, and I needed a date, so I called her. And that was our first date.
I enjoyed it, and I could see that his peers, his peer group, and those who were under him, they respected him a lot. I think he was really very himself, very natural, and he would always impress me as someone who was very disciplined, and very intelligent, and who had very good time management, because he got a lot of things done in so little time. And then maybe at that time I could see that he was a very promising young man. I could see it already.
In an interview with Maria Rosa Nieva Carrion for the coffee table book entitled Elements of Love, Renato Corona was quoted saying,
"I was enthralled because she was the most beautiful girl in the ball. A lot of guys from Ateneo knew her and how they wish it was she they had for their date."
Alam mo, she has the two great qualities I've always found attractive in a woman. A pretty face and an intelligent mind. She's a great person. She's a very, very, very good person. Very kind, very loving, very giving, very generous. Saka malalim mag-isip yan Malalim mag-isip yan. She is a very articulate person. She has I'd say very good breeding. She comes from a very good family.
He could sense that I was very close to my grandmother, so he was asking her to teach him Spanish, and my Lola was so flattered, I guess. Of all those who, I think even the suitors of my sisters, I think he was the only one that my Lola gave a lot of attention and affection to. And even with my chaperones, he was able to relate very well. I saw that he could really relate very well with my whole family. I felt at ease with him.
On September 9, 1968, the young Rene and Tina went steady, and he became his first boyfriend, and she his one and only as well.
Isang araw, lumabas sa, nagde-date kami. Tapos, by that time, I guess, we had feelings for each other already. Kasi, ramdam mo naman di ba? Kung may pag-asa ka o wala di ba? Nagsasayaw kami noon tatandaan ko. I told her, I liked her very much. Hindi naman siya sumagot hindi rin naman niya ako tinulak. And 2 months later, inulit ko. That's the time she said yes.
Gwapings ko si CJ nung bata.
Very guwapo. Hanggang ngayon.
If I remember correctly, I think she wanted to study in Spain. Although plano-plano pa lang naman, wala naman. Pero ako naman, sabi ko, malulungkot ako nito pag lumakad dito. I don't know how I'll do without her. So I propose na lang. Advice nga ng father ko, bakit hindi ka muna maging lawyer? Hintayin mo muna para sabi ko, sigurado na ako dito So yan, let's see, we got married in 1970. We're going into our 42nd year. Of course, I have discovered many more things about her than just having a pretty face and an intelligent mind. I am never ashamed or worried whenever she's with me in public na meron siyang sasabihin na ikakahiya ko o hindi ko magugustuhan. She just always says the perfect things at the perfect time and in the perfect place.
They work so well together. I mean, their marriage, first of all, I know that they're, the best of friends. So that's I think very important in a marriage. So they talk about everything. They thresh things out. They discuss everything. So that's the basis, the trust, the communication, and the laughter, the fun that they have together. That's important, I think, in any relationship, in any marriage. So I saw that in my parents. My dad likes to crack jokes, and my mom is always the first to laugh. My dad says he has this joke that he always brings my mom along when he goes out so that someone will laugh at his jokes. He's very sweet to her. He always pays her compliments. Well, in front of us and in front of other people, he does that. So, and I'm sure he does that also when it's just the two of them. I mean, nothing out of the ordinary. We always naman try to act with proper decorum, and that's how we were brought up. So my dad being the Chief Justice, or before that, like Attorney Corona, it's the same. That's just how it is. Everything was pretty much the same naman Daddy is daddy to us. So of course, whenever we would go out, or people would approach him, but at home, he's daddy.
As a father, yeah, he was kind of hands-on. He would really spend time with our babies. He would spend time with the children as they grow up. And when we had parent-teachers days, he would find time also to go to those school activities. He was very involved.
Oh yes, he was always there when we were growing up. Of course, for the everyday stuff, it was my mom. My mom was a full-time mom, so she was very active in school. She was PTA president. She, that type who was very active. In the evenings also, he would help us with our homework and stuff. Well, he was very strict when we were younger, especially he was very strict with me and my sister. My brother, not so much. And I think me the most because I was the eldest. sort of like the guinea pig. So, so whatever worked with me, they did with my siblings, and if not naman, they kind of tweak it a bit and make it work. So I think that's why they were strictest with me. No boys, no phone calls from boys, no, basta, no parties. Yeah, first soiree in third year high school. I mean, things like that, like very, very strict with those things. In terms of academics naman, actually, well, I just took it upon myself, I think, to study hard because I knew it would make my parents happy. Actually, napapagalitan din naman ako. Because, let's say, with Telebabad or something, when I was in high school, because there were rules. Rules about going out, you know, like whenever I would go out, I would have, this was before, okay, I think I'm revealing my age, but this was before cell phones. So I had to write down who I was going to be with, where I was going, and you know, like all the details. And then I had to put it on his desk. Meron pang ang deadline, I think a week before the event. If not, then hindi na pwede, parang ganon. And then, and then he would give me an answer if I could go or not. And then, what else? And then, of course, there's a curfew. And then, what are the other rules? I think the phone, the use of the phone, not more than 30 minutes. Wow. And then, after 10, no more calls. And then, like I said, no phone calls from guys the whole of high school.
Apart from being the head of his family at the young age of 21, Renato Corona also had to attend to his obligations as a law student and as an employee in Malacanang.
I was working in Malacanang. Kapanahonan yun ni President Marcos. So I was working from the morning, and then 5 o'clock umalis ako sa opisina. Then I would go to school in Padifara, and that's where the Ateneo Law School used to be. So klase 5:30 to 8:30. Then pag-uwi ko, kain sandali. Then nung may baby na kami, si Carla, siya pa lang yung baby namin nun, I would play with her for a while. And then, yun, beginning mga 10 o'clock, aral na ako until 2 o'clock in the morning. And all the time, my wife would be there, staying up with me. She would serve me coffee or chocolate or merienda, just so that hindi ako maantukin. And that was every day. Kaya ang ginagawa ko naman noon pag Sunday, kasi ang klase namin Monday to Saturday. Pag Sunday ang klase, wala kaming klase, nag-a-advance reading na ako for the following week's lesson sa law school. So, pag dating ng the following week, pangalawang pasada ko na yun. Kaya hindi kami lumalabas nun for 4 years. When I entered law school, I had a regular job already. And I was continuing to write speeches also. Parang yun ang sideline ko eh. No? Sa Harvard, ganun din. Nagtatrabaho ko noon eh. We were allowed to work part-time. So I was able to get part-time work in the university, sa Harvard mismo. Tapos on certain hours of the day, umalis ako sa trabaho, nag-attend ako ng klase. To begin with naman, binigyan naman ako ng scholarship ng Harvard. So malaking savings na rin yun. Ano? So my mother used to send us money also. And then, of course, I was working part-time, I told you, in the university. Tapos, yung gano'n, more or less. Tsaka may mga savings namin here na binili namin ng dollars na binao namin.
When I was in 4th grade, we all went as a family. That was when my father went to Harvard for his master's. And then again, so that was fun. That was, you know, with a family. So it is a time in our lives that we always look back to with fondness. We usually, when we go to the States, we take a side trip to Boston, to Cambridge, because we have a lot of happy memories there.
Marami yung mga bookstore doon. Gusto namin pumunta sa bookstore. Yung mga museum, ang daming museum. Dinadala namin, lalo na si Mrs. Corona. Parating yan dinadala yung mga bata sa museum. Ang gaganda ng mga museum doon. I would not have gone to Harvard without my family.
The strong bond that anchors the Corona family stemmed from the sturdy foundations relayed by Renato and Cristina to their children. And this gravitating sense of belonging and spending quality time with the family has trickled down to the grandchildren.
He spends time with them. He spends time. Usually, they have, you know, like a date. They'll take him and my mom. They'll take the kids out. They'll bring them to the bookstore, which is one of their favorite hangouts, and then or the toy store. And usually, well, my rule is that usually I don't buy them toys unless there's a special occasion. I don't want them to get used to just buying things without, you know, without any reason. But so sometimes nakakalusot yung mga grandparents. But for the most part naman, they respect my wishes. But bumabawi sila sa books, because with books I don't because I